Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
When it comes to Donald Trump,
your message is excluding people. You're excluding me. You're excluding people that look like me. You're excluding people of color. You're excluding, Americans that maybe support you.
One of the greatest American soccer players ever, Megan Rapinoe, couldn't let his shenanigans slide.
Knock the crap out of him, would you? Seriously. I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
The polar opposites in their approach.
I think it's just kind of a wasted opportunity and kind of selfish, to be honest, to not use that platform and the influence that we have, knowing how much people look up to us and listen to what we say, to try to make the world a better place.
Should be invigorating for some and devastating for others. Sadly,
through the night.
because she took a knee in protest.
This country allows you to play a game for a living and do very well.
So you can take a knee, yeah.
Right-wing media, along with the highest position in the country, went all out in their attacks.
When you go down and take a knee or any other way, you're sitting, essentially, for our great national anthem. You're disrespecting our flag, and you're disrespecting our country.
It was unjust. It was unfounded. But they saw an easy target to rile up their base, and they took the opportunity. Meanwhile,
I think simply I felt like it was the right thing to do. What was said about them and the way that it was said about them, and not talking about the issues that they wanted to talk about, that felt wrong to me. In much the same way that I came to the decision about kneeling, I came to the decision about coming out. It wasn't really a question of, is this the right thing to do? Should I do this? It very quickly became, why am I not?
Rapinoe remained steadfast in her reasoning, which was simply the origin of the protest and its true purpose. Trump would reportedly tell Cowboys Governor Jerry Jones kneeling was, quote, a winning issue for him and that it lifts him. He would use it over and over again to turn conservatives against their own.
I think over time, I've tried to be more thoughtful about it because it has impacted people. It has impacted my family, and I'm from a small conservative town that's like pretty tight knit. My mom worked at a restaurant, so it was constantly people coming in and out, and my family like lives in a place that didn't really agree generally with what I was saying, didn't agree with kneeling. Like, why are you not kneeling? And I don't mean kneeling in terms of kneeling. Like, what are you doing? What is everyone doing to help? Because everyone knows that we have a problem in this country. Everyone knows that we have serious issues to talk around racial injustice.
On Pablo Torre Finds Out, Rapinoe reflected on the matter. From Trump's tweets of, Megan should win first before she talks, finish the job.
In terms of the political backdrop and your back and forth with the President of the United States, Donald Trump, how do you put it into perspective?
I think we know who won that. Yeah. I held up my end of the bargain on that one.
And then she and the team did, winning the World Cup, and in addition, winning the Golden Boot, top goal scorer at the tournament, the Golden Ball, best player at the tournament, and the coveted Ballon d'Or.
But what was frankly shocking was to see people who claimed to be patriots and lovers of America, nationalists even, just openly trashing an American national team. Look at these reactions from the MAGA folks. I'm glad they lost. What an embarrassment. Even outright rooting for the opposing foreign team, Sweden.
Yet when they bowed out to Sweden at the recent tournament, it all went back to her stance years ago.
Also, my experience with kneeling, immediately showed me that it was all fake. What
do you mean?
Fake meaning the conversation that was being had in a negative way was so disingenuous because it wasn't about what Colin was saying at all. We're talking about the military now. We're not talking about national security. We're talking about the right to protest and the First Amendment and police brutality and all of these things.
Led by none other.
Wokeism makes you lose, ruins your mind, and ruins you as a person. You become warped, you become demented. The U.S. women's soccer team is a very good example of what's going on. Earlier this week, they unexpectedly lost to Sweden 3-0. And Americans were happy about it. You proved that point before I even said it.
The consistency of their attacks is this: fabricated and baseless.
So I was like, okay, you're just trying to like have a different conversation and one that slings mud at Colin and, you know, tries to discredit what he's saying. And I think from my perspective, I was like, well, I believe Colin and I believe black people generally. Otherwise, you have to accuse like the entirety of like their experience. You have to accuse them of lying, which is insane.
You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Everything woke. Everything woke. It's true. Everything woke turns to shit, okay? It's true. It's true. Look at what's happening.
We need to have a reckoning with the message that you have and what you're saying about Make America Great Again. I think that you're harking back to an era that was not great for everyone. It might have been great for a few people, and maybe America is great for a few people right now, but it's not great for enough Americans in this world. And I think that we have a responsibility, each and every one of us. You have an incredible responsibility as, you know, the chief of this country, to take care of every single person, and you need to do better for everyone.
Throughout it all, she remains unfettered.
So I think just then I was like, oh, this is just disingenuous in general, particularly on social media. And I'm not getting that real life feedback that anybody actually feels this strongly about it to ever come in. I'm out on these streets or at games or in Texas or Florida or, you know, places that are traditionally more conservative. Nothing, not one word. So I was just like, man, this is like whatever. So I'm just going to keep saying what I'm saying. And it seems like I like know when I'm on track when, you know, that part of the internet starts like saying crazy things. I'm like, oh, thank you for the reinforcement and like acknowledgement that I'm at the heart of it.
A lot to get into. Before we do so, be sure to submit any stories and follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, and TikTok. DMs are open. The reason why MAGA hates Megan Rapinoe so much, excuse me, and I have talked about this before, it is that they cannot control her. It is that they see somebody who is a stereotype of what they talk about at the bar over some, not Bud Lights, maybe Corona, but some other stuff. And what do they say? Purple hair, member of the LGBTQ plus community, probably a different word. This person that's trying to take away our heritage. Come on, the Bible says that is between a man and a woman. She is breaking their brains on this. She refuses to back down. She refuses to succumb to MAGA hypocrisy. It comes down to control. They see someone who looks different, acts different, expresses themselves, not viewed as what they think a lady should look like. And because she has a message at the end of the day that is built and based on inclusivity, as she put in that interview with CNN, instead of excluding people, they hate it. That's why they can't stand Megan Rapinoe.